Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a quick, simple, and easy 20-minute makeup routine for if you're needing to run out the door, if you're needing to take your kids to school and you just don't have a lot of time to do your makeup. Enjoy! Very first thing that I do in my makeup routine in the morning is put sunscreen on. The sunscreen that I use is Neutrogena Sport Face and I use SPF 70. I just want to make sure I'm completely covering my face. There is sunscreen in a lot of my makeup that I wear, but I just like the extra added protection. And it's not necessarily so much for a sunburn as it is for making sure that I'm preventing wrinkles, because the sun does a lot of damage to our skin. The next thing that I do is add my moisturizer. I just use the Aveeno Ultra Calming. I usually let my face product set for at least 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure that my skin absorbs all of the moisture that I just put into it. And then another thing is I always get ready in my pajamas just because I don't like getting ready in my normal everyday clothes that I'm going to be wearing. So that's why you see me in my pajamas today. The next thing I'm going to do is just fluff up my eyebrows. So I just grab them with a sweeping motion. This is the Benefit Brow Goof Proof Brow Pencil. I swear by this, it works so good. I wear the shade 4. Okay. The very next thing that I'm gonna do is grab my wet beauty blender. I am almost out of foundation, that's why I just cut this off so I can scrape the extra out. I don't want to waste any. I use the Infallible Total Cover and I'm in shade 307. I just take a little bit out. My fingers are clean, I just washed them. I rub a little bit on the beauty blender. Normally I just squeeze it onto the beauty blender. This is what we got going on today. And then I just lightly start dabbing. I don't focus on getting too much foundation right here up under my eyes because I am going to put concealer on. I go all the way up to my hairline. I used to have acne really bad down here on my face. So I make sure I just thoroughly cover that because I do have scars. And then I do my eyelids and I make sure I just press that in really good. I do go over my eyebrows just a little bit. I don't want too much product on there or it's gonna make it really hard for me to put my eyebrow product on and it's gonna look very waxy. Now that I have my eyebrows somewhat how I want them, I'm going to use my Wonder Pencil by NYX. This has been a holy grail product for me. It can get rid of any unwanted lipstick that you have down here, as well as brighten your under eye. It can kind of even out your eyebrows if you draw them in like me, and sometimes you overdraw them. It's just honestly, it's like an eraser. It's awesome. You can also put it in the corner of your eye to brighten your eye a little bit. And then a big tip that I got recently was to set my brows with powder. So I'm just using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. So I have to rave on and on about this. I have had super expensive setting powders. This is like the best one that I've ever had. So I'm gonna grab a big brush. I just put a little bit of product. I did knock some of it off and I'm just going to set my brow like this. It is going to mess it up a little bit, but then when you get it with the spoolie again, they'll look just right. This helps your brows stay all day. Now that I'm done with my brows, this is another reason why I always wear my pajamas. I always kind of clean my brushes like that just because I don't clean my brushes every single day. I know that I should, I just don't have time. Okay, so I'm going to open my Morphe. I believe this is the 35OM palette. I'm just going to take like the most neutral shade. Obviously you can tell I use it every day because I'm almost out of it. And I put this everywhere over my lid except underneath my brow bone. I'm just wanting to put like a base color down. That way it's not just my lid. And then I add a little bit of a lighter color. I've been really into like this grayish brown. I shake my brush. I'm going to do just in between my crease line just to give my eyelids a little bit of a pop so they're not completely flat. Sometimes I think, oh, I'll just skip this step, and at the end of my makeup I'm like, my eyes look really flat, and I decide to go back and add this. It really does help. Okay, so I have a little bit of definition to my eyes. I'm going to clean this again. I know it's not like the best thing to do, but now I'm going to add like a shimmery white cream and do that right under my brow. The next thing I do is grab my flat angled brush. I get it a little bit wet. And then I'm gonna go in with this deep brown color. So my brush is wet. I like using this better than like a gel liner or a liquid liner. I feel like it just looks a little bit softer. And I'm only going to do a little bit, that way when I put my lashes on, it doesn't look so harsh. Now that I have both sides of my eyes done, I'm going to do my concealer under my eye. I do my under eyes after I do my concealer. So this is just the e.l.f. Cosmetics 16-Hour Cameo Concealer. My sister actually turned me on to this. I went to Sephora to get Shape Tape, and she's like, no, try this. It works so good, you guys. It did not disappoint. A little bit goes a really long way, and it stays all day long. So I'm just going to dab with my wet beauty blender all the way into my waterline. The only thing I would recommend with this is doing one eye at a time because it does kind of dry fast. I can tell already that I have too much concealer, and I'm going to put concealer on my nose anyway, so I'm going to take my beauty blender and go down my nose and up my eyebrows into my T-zone. Go back to my eye. So this alone makes me look so much more alert and bright versus not having any makeup on. And this probably took me about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to fix my brow where I got a little bit of concealer. All I need to do is just kind of like sweep the little hairs up. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get my big fluffy brush. I'm going to grab one of my shades. I'm going to go with this one first. And I'm just going to go along my waterline. I'm going to go back with my big fluffy brush and my translucent translucent powder. I don't mind if there's so much on the brush for this one. I'm going to sweep under my eyes and make sure that I pull my face down with my mouth so that I get in all the little cracks. And then I'm going to go back with my finger and smooth any concealer that might have caked up. That way it doesn't settle into the cracks and cause wrinkles. So now I'm going to grab my fluffy brush again. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker shade and just run that under my waterline as well. I'm just essentially creating a shadow, and I'm super messy with this. I'm not using this as eyeliner. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my wet angled brush again. Go back in with that same color that we had on top and do along my waterline. Again, I'm not super precise with this because I'm going to smudge it out. So I don't like really take my time making sure it's perfect. I'm going to grab this brush, which is a little bit more flat but still fluffy, and just smudge and smear those together. So right now it looks like I look like a raccoon, but once I add my lashes, it's going to look a lot better. The next thing that I'm going to do is add my bronzer. I'm using Hoola bronzer today. I'm going to go along the side of my nose. I'm going to actually grab my angled brush for that. Along my hairline, down here, now I'm going to go back in with my fluffy brush that still has translucent powder and just kind of clean and soften and blend this up a little bit. I love a lot of bronzer, you guys. I grab a little bit more translucent powder. And I drag it, and I do want to make a harsh line. I'm going to let that set. I do go over my lips with the translucent powder, so I had a little bit of chapstick on earlier. I just used the Burt's Bees pomegranate. I like how it's a little bit tinted. And honestly, Burt's Bees is the only chapstick that I find works for my lips. Okay, now I'm going to put my lashes on. So you can tell already how on this side I look like I'm a raccoon over here, but then once I add my lashes, it kind of balances everything out. This is just the way that I like to do my makeup. I'm going to add my other lash. We don't always have success on the first try. So now that I have both of my lashes on, I am going to go over with a little tiny bit of mascara underneath just to blend my other lashes up, but I'm going to let these dry because I don't want to move them and mess with them. So I'm going to put my mascara on my under eye. And then now I'm just going to carefully make my natural lashes attach a little bit better to the fake lashes. And then I'm going to secure anything back down if it came up a little bit. I'm going to blend out this down here. And then sometimes on my eyes, I do want a little bit more of darkness, and I kind of just stand back and see how I look. So I'm going to go in with this color, just a tiny bit, and do that right here. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is a secret, I don't know if anybody else has done this. If you have, please let me know. This is Beard Brand Utility Balm in the scent Lumberyard. So this is meant for like a beard. You could honestly use it for anything. It looks a lot like Vaseline or petroleum jelly. I'm just going to get like the tiniest amount on my fingers and go up my brows to ensure that the hairs are kind of staying where I want them to go. Now I'm going to get my fluffy side of this. I can't talk right now, I'm sorry. My spoolie. And I'm going to go up and kind of like glue those down in place. And then I always stand back and look at my makeup as well, so I can see that this brow is just going crazy. There's always one brow, so I'm going to take my eraser and just kind of clean that up a little bit. So then depending on the day, sometimes I do a lipstick. Today I'm just going to do my chapstick. And then the very last thing that I do, sometimes I do this in between steps if I'm going to be like sweating a lot that day, or if I have something that I'm going to. You guys like my Paw Patrol sticker on my setting spray? I'm just using the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. And I let that dry. So this is how my makeup turned out when I was all done with everything. It ended up taking me about 20 minutes, super easy, simple, and quick. And I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And if you have any questions or video recommendations, please leave them in the comments.